We can now report that Israeli hostages in Gaza have been transferred to the Red Cross and are currently on their way to the border crossing with Egypt, the Rafah border crossing. This is coming from Reuters news agency, which is citing Israeli TV channels. So I'll repeat that. Israeli captives in Gaza have been transferred to the Red Cross, and they're currently, as we speak, on their way to the border crossing with Egypt. So this is in line with how the deal was supposed to work. 13 Israeli captives that have been held in Gaza by Hamas since October the 7th were scheduled to be released sometime after 4 p.m. It's currently 4:30, and the Red Cross was meant to be facilitating this, get them out of Gaza through the Rafah border crossing. That's the border with Egypt, where Israeli helicopters have been standing by waiting for them. Israeli TV channels now reporting that that is currently underway. Let me bring in Daniel Levy. Daniel is the president of the U.S. Middle East Project and a former Israeli negotiator. You're joining us from London. As a former negotiator, you just heard what I said in this latest reporting. This is coming from Israeli TV channels. What's your reaction?
I've not done hostage negotiations, just to caveat that, Cyril.
Yeah.
Well, look, we can only feel joy that not only on the human level, these people, these Israelis, the 13 in this first bunch, it seems some ties today as well, will be getting out. On the human level, that Gaza is not subject to bombardment. We will not see the devastation of the last weeks, at least for 4 days. We must not return to it. Maybe we'll come back to that. Palestinians who have been held in Israeli prisons will be reunited with their families. So that's all on the human level. Slightly different level, we are now apparently already in the proof of concept that you can have a negotiated release. You can have a cessation of hostilities, that the Qatari mediation has been successful, that the pressure exerted by the families inside Israel on their own political leadership, who were extremely reluctant to go down this path, has paid off. So there's a lot of, and it's going to be fraught, it's going to be tense. There are things that could still go wrong. But we have a crucial first step in a proof of concept, which offers us a way out of the hellscape of the last weeks. But we're a long way from achieving all of that.
Daniel, just let me remind our viewers of what they're seeing on their screen right now. You've got the center of your screen and the top right. Center of your screen is the Rafah border crossing. That is where the Israeli captives are now being brought. Whether we might end up seeing this on this live shot, I really can't tell you. And the top right corner of your screen is the Ofer security facility, also a live shot. That's in the occupied West Bank, and that is where we are expecting 39 Palestinian prisoners to be, at some point today, released. Daniel, thanks for your patience here. Where do you think this takes us? You say we have proof of concept. Then what?
Then what is the crucial question? I don't know if we do get an extension beyond the initial 4 days. There will be efforts to that effect. I fear that even if that succeeds, it will not give us the permanent cessation of this Israeli military campaign, of this bombardment, of the 14,500 deaths, of the 6,000 children. I fear we won't get that unless at least 2 or 3 things happen. The pressure inside Israel with this new dynamic, seeing the people come out, seeing this proof, the pressure escalates on the military leadership because the political and military leadership are saying in Israel that the two go hand in hand. Only the military campaign got us to this deal. We can only get the Israelis out with a tough military campaign. That's their narrative. I think it's untrue. I think this deal was available for a long time. It only happened when there was pressure. So I think the only way you get to the next phase of a next deal for a release is if there's that internal dynamic in Israel, which becomes even more ramped up. Secondly, we need the external pressure. What we're reading and hearing, and I'm hearing in conversations at the moment, is America is not pushing Israel for an overall ceasefire. The president and his team are asking the Israelis to carry out the next phase of the war in a more surgical way. That sounds like a rash act of irresponsibility, of complicity, because as we've all been looking at this, you have a much larger Palestinian population, civilian population, crammed into a much smaller area in the south. That's where the Israelis will go to next if they carry on the military campaign, which they intend to, and that will lead to even more loss, devastation, destruction. So we have to try and avoid that. I don't think the Americans are there yet, and unless they put pressure, I worry that we're not seeing the end of the horrible images. But the pressure may increase also just because Western media who haven't been in Gaza may go in there more. They may get more of an accurate picture of what has actually been done. So we're going to have this inside-outside push.
Well, to be clear, for the moment, the ceasefire deal does not include any provisions for any other media to go inside Gaza. I hear what you're saying, but that question was asked directly of the spokesperson for the Qatari Foreign Ministry. He said, for the moment, no, there's no provision to allow more journalists into Gaza.
And if you're Israel, you can understand exactly why they're preventing that, by the way. And I think they're also going to try and keep a lid on the stories. I don't think that's going to be that easy, a lid on the stories that, you know, these people are going to come out. Let's see how they are. They could be reunited with their families. But at some stage, we're going to hear, how are they? And again, that could be proof of concept that the Israelis can come out alive in relatively good condition, and that will induce, I hope, more pressure.
Daniel, thank you very much for that snap analysis. As we have just found out and hearing the reporting from Israeli TV channels that the Israeli captives are on their way out of Gaza as we speak. Daniel Levy there, thank you very much.